Hey, this is Primo here, and we're going to change gears a little bit this week. No pun intended. Well, maybe there was a little pun intended in that. And the reason I'm saying gears is because the game that we've been playing recently is Gears of War 4. And there's a lot of, craziness that's been associated with Gears of War since its release. The biggest problem right now that people see is probably going to be the word microtransactions. So what I wanted to kind of discuss today was how microtransactions may not be as bad as you think they are. So when we originally bought games, people made the reference that when you bought the season pass for Gears of War and other games, that you got a lot of maps and you got a lot of other stuff, and all this content was available in the game as you played it. And that's kind of true from the aspect of when a gaming company made a game, they made all the pre-existing stuff or the ideas of what they wanted to do right up front. They had to, because it had to be made ahead of time. And then the game would slowly be rolled out, and there would be a cost associated with every little thing that you bought. So with the original purchases of, so let's say Gears 3 is a great example. You bought a season pass, and you got all the maps, which is what you really paid for. And then as they came out, they'd sell a skin, and then maybe a skin would sell, and then maybe it wouldn't. And like the Xbox skin, I'm pretty sure that one didn't do all that great. And so pretty much any of the content that you see had a monetary association with it so that it would get sold. And the problem with that is there's no real dedication ability to that kind of setup, because if somebody doesn't buy the content, you're not making money off of it. And there's also a finite level of how content comes out that people can spend on it. So even in Gears 3 and Gears 2 and all these other areas, we really were paying a specific amount for maps and then getting, a little bit of extra content in the interim that was inside of the game that got added to us as we would meet certain accomplishments. And that's kind of the point is no matter how you cut it, you had to work for this stuff that was in game, and it came out when it came out. And once you got all the stuff that you saw in the game, there isn't any content to get. There was times when we'd play certain games and we'd have, the seasonal equipment that we had, and then once the season was over, it would disappear. The beauty of this microtransaction thing, and not that I'm any fan of microtransactions in any way, the beauty of the new microtransaction section is that people are spending money on a game all the time. Let's look at the variations that Gears of War has that other Gears didn't have. For instance, esport teams, you can actually go in Gears 4 and purchase a skin, all the skins associated with your Gears team for like $2. You've never been able to do that before. And a lot of that came out of the ability to say, I'm going to purchase the esports specific skins, and sure, they were in packs, and sure, you may not get the packs right out of the gate, but the idea that you were able to go in, get your Gears packs, and get that equipment for your characters, and now you spent money on the game, you spent more money. I'm sure they made a lot more money on the esport packs. And now we have, the 10th anniversary stuff, the Christmas stuff. That stuff you're going to get to keep. You're not going to have to give it up at the end of the season. The stuff that comes out with UIR. And those expenditures that are going into that, where people are actually buying content, are actually going into the next content and the next content and the next content, and so on and so forth down the road. Let's look at, a game, for instance, like not Gears of War, but the other game that I play mostly, which is Grand Theft Auto. We're going on 3 years now, and the GTA community isn't dying because it's got more stuff to go with it. That's more of an inclusive game per se, so as you can see, that doesn't always equate to what the Gears community is going to do. But the reality is that that's going to happen for Gears too. And the other thing I have to add to this is, yes, the esports stuff cost. If you bought anything from somebody's team pack, that cost. And the reason is because that's going to push what team they have in the future because that's what you're supporting, and you're kind of be able to tell them where to go with their esport teams, what to improve, and there's going to be a monetary reason for them to push things, and that's good because money makes the world go round. Money makes a company do one thing, or money makes a company do another. But all the other content, the horde packs, the operation packs, any of the packs that got added in it, other than like airdrop packs where people were saying, hey, I needed some support off the bat, all those things may have a monetary association with it, but they have an earned credit amount too. And you can just play the game and get the credit you need to pay and purchase those packs. You don't have to spend money on them. Leave the spending money to people who, that's what they do. You know what I mean? Or they're like YouTubers, for instance, make money doing YouTube videos. So if we put money back into our own game, it's in our best interest. And if I make $100 off of a video and I spend 20 of it on opening packs, and even if there's YouTube videos out there that's all they do is open packs. I don't think I'm ever going to do a video like that, but the idea that there's a video out there of it just shows you that there are people that are spending on packs and they're putting more money into the system, and there's a cycle here, and that's a good cycle. They're feeding us, we're feeding them. The more we feed them, the more they feed us, and that cycle would never had existed on Gears 1, Gears 2, or Gears 3, and definitely not in Judgment. So we can complain about this system and say it's a money-grabbing system, but let's be honest. We have campaign, we have versus, and we have horde. So people who are complaining and saying, that they're a money-grabbing system, I don't really know what you have to stand on there, because it's not, I don't see it. Now, if you want to complain that there are certain weapons that aren't powerful enough, if you want to continue to complain about people soaking damage or being sponges, that's a valid complaint. Make it aware, and you have a system now that supports, because it continues to get paid. You're going to pay somebody who sits there and says, my job is to make sure this game stops sponging. Also realize that there are certain things that can't be done. If somebody's in Mexico and they have a bad connection, not saying that everybody in Mexico has a bad connection, but people who I've played with mostly in Mexico, I have lag with, and I think it has to do with the distance that I'm working with, and probably something around the idea of how our two states, our two nations talk over the internet, if you will. I have problems with certain areas overseas, and I'm sure that the UK and other places like that have places communicating with me that cause certain errors in the game. And that's going to be a debate and a thing that we try to work through, and I think Gears has done a really good job of working through that. But we're going to be working through those problems for the rest of the time we ever game. It won't just end on Gears 4. It didn't end in Gears 3 or 2 or anything like that. It'll be going on long before Gears 4 comes out, and hopefully at some point we'll master it. But otherwise, get yourself some good friends that you play with. Connect locally as you can, like East Coast, South, West Coast. Get your team that you want to play with, and communities online do a lot to support that and give people players that they want to play with. So that's the thing is there's all the stuff that people are complaining about in Gears 4. I don't mean to be rude about this, but it's all fixable. It's all doable if you put the work in. Going on the Gears forum and saying, by the way, Rockstar, you suck and I'm never going to play your game again because your bounty packs are way too overpriced, is not a valid argument when there's a credit associated with that purchase that you earn in game. It never will, even if it's hard to get. And I know that's a battle for another day, and sure, I'm in for getting in that battle. There's ways of introducing packs that don't require me to grind for like days on end, but the idea is I'm going to be playing anyway, so why not have something associated with it? There's ways of doing it, like for instance with the esport packs that people paid for, to say that when you buy those packs, everything in those packs is just for those packs. There's nothing burns me more than you spend I don't know how many hours I spend trying to get one pack that's basically like the UIR pack, which is 4,400 credits, and opening up and getting a Tink a teak Lancer in it, which is worth maybe like 5 credits in scrap. You know what I mean? That's gonna make me upset every time I see it. But the reality is I'm not paying for that. So if you're gonna have a pack system and do it like that, then have the same stuff all in the one pack, and then you have the uniques and whatever. And we understand duplicates are gonna happen that way. But yeah, like I said, it's just we're complaining about something that we really are going to end up doing in the game anyway, and we have all that content that we love and we enjoy, and it's going to continue to grow. The other thing with this is that with this system that everybody's complaining about, you have to realize that that's going to continue to put more money back into what's going to be Gears 6. This isn't Epic Games. This is the Coalition. This is the only way they know how to make money, and it's a good way of making money. So why not use it? Why not get money from it and realize that we're putting money back in that's going to translate over to another game? Epic did not leave this in a good way. Judgment was not some groundbreaking game that made them tons of money, that put them in a position to do that. So when, like I said, when you go on the forums or you go on other places and you talk about Gears, let's remember the reality of the situation is, yes, we have to grind. Sure, that's a complaint. But let's not get crazy about this. Let's not say we're giving up Gears of War. The game stinks and it's awful and it's blah, blah, blah because of a couple of packs. Let's look at the real gameplay of the game, enjoy the game, and give the kind of constructive criticism that helps people improve the game, make it better for everybody else, and that we can ensure that this game will continue on for cycle to cycle. I mean, it's the only shooter game that I can play. So I want to see it go from Gears 6 to Gears 10 to Gears 20. And if that means I have to have a couple of credits to buy some packs or whatever, I'm okay with that. And you know what? In the long run, that's going to make them more money, and they're going to have a better game. And hopefully that translates over to a better game to us. So when we want to really complain is when Gears 6 comes out and it's nothing but payable microtransactions and we can never unlock anything in the game ever, and they never give us any content. And if that happens, yes, you have my full undivided attention to say, by the way, they suck and I'm never going to play with them again. Sure, there you go. But I just do not see that happening from a group that I have personally actually played with on Gears 3. So let's give them a chance. Give them this time. Let's play together as our teams who love Gears. Play at least a Gears. Play it together and have fun. And I hope to see you guys around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section below. And I will see you next time. Have a great night. Bye.